might consume.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to speak in support of my bill, H.R. 4307, which would name the VA Veterans Health Clinic in Artesia, New Mexico, in honor of Alejandro Renteria Ruiz, a Southern New Mexican who was awarded the Medal of Honor during World War II. Alejandro Ruiz was ultimately a sergeant in the United States Army. He was born and raised in Loving, New Mexico, down in southern Eddy County. When war broke out, he traveled north to Carlsbad and enlisted in the Army. After basic training, he was assigned to the 27th Infantry Division. The 27th Infantry Division was part of the largest amphibious operation in the Pacific Theater, the Allied invasion of Okinawa, codenamed Operation Iceberg. It was during this invasion that on April 28, 1945, Private Ruiz's unit was pinned down by machine gun fire from a camouflaged Japanese pillbox. They were unable to advance until Ruiz grabbed an automatic rifle and charged the pillbox right in the face of machine gun fire and grenades. Unfortunately, his rifle jammed and one of the enemy attacked Ruiz. Without hesitation, he used the rifle as a club and beat back his enemy. Ruiz then returned to his original position, all the while under fire from machine guns and grenades from the pillbox. On his second attempt to free his unit, Ruiz was able to overtake the enemy pillbox and save the lives of fellow soldiers. For his actions, he was awarded the Medal of Honor, which was presented to him by President Truman on June 26, 1946, in a ceremony at the White House. Mr. Speaker, it is with great pride that I stand before you to honor this American hero. We should all work every day to remember individuals like Sergeant Ruiz, he and the multitudes of his fellow Americans who battled for the freedom of Europe, Asia, and the Americas, left this world a legacy of liberty, security, and prosperity. After the war, Sergeant Ruiz would tell the story of how he came to serve in the Army. As a young man working for a cattle farmer in Carlsbad, he was told to transport an animal to another farm. Now, I'm as familiar with the long, lonely roads of southern New Mexico as much as anyone is, and I can tell you your mind wanders on those long drives. That day, more than half a century ago, Mr. Ruiz's mind wandered to thoughts of a girlfriend. Well, those thoughts in mind, he drove straight to Barstow, Texas, 122 miles away, to speak with that young woman. And he brought the cow with him. Seeing as he'd now stolen a cow, Mr. Ruiz was detained, and a judge told him that he would either be sent to jail for taking the cow or he could enlist in the Army. He chose the Army. Sergeant Ruiz died on November the 20th, 2009. He was survived by two children, Celia Ruiz and Alejandro Ruiz Jr., a sister, 7 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. Madam Speaker, Sergeant Ruiz was a member of the greatest generation. As that generation grows older and many of them leave this earth, it is important that their sacrifices, their acts of heroism, their accomplishments, and of course their names not be forgotten. It would be a great mistake for us to forget how the lives we live today, the freedoms we cherish, and the comforts we enjoyed were earned by the heroism of Sergeant Ruiz, the blood of his fellow soldiers, and the sacrifice of an entire nation. Madam Speaker, upon enactment of this bill, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs community-based outpatient clinic located at 1700 West Main Street in Artesia, New Mexico, will bear the name of Alejandro Renteria Ruiz, the son, citizen, and defender of a grateful nation. I thank Chairman Filner for his support. I urge my colleagues to support this bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Madam Speaker, reclaiming my time, I will reserve the balance of our time.
The gentleman from California reserves the balance of his time. The gentleman from Indiana is recognized.